Religion has run out of justifications. Thanks to the telescope and the microscope, it no longer offers an explanation of anything important. Where once it used to be able, by its total command of a worldview, to prevent the emergence of rivals, it can now only impede and retard, or try to turn back, the measurable advances that we have made. Sometimes, true, it will artfully concede them, but this is to offer itself the choice between irrelevance and obstruction, impotence or outright reaction. And given this choice, it is programmed to select the worst of the two. Meanwhile, confronted with undreamed of vistas inside our own evolving cortex, in the farthest reaches of the known universe, and in the proteins and acids which constitute our nature, religion offers either annihilation in the name of God, or else the false promise that if we take a knife to our foreskins, or pray in the right direction, or ingest pieces of wafer, we shall be, in quotes, saved, end quote. It is as if someone offered a delicious and fragrant out-of-season fruit, matured in a painstakingly and lovingly designed hothouse, should throw away the flesh and the pulp and gnaw moodily on the pit. Doesn't have a high regard for religion, does he? Well, that's former, he's no longer living, Christopher Hitchens in his book, God is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything. And, you know, being a professional, holy person, I guess it's my job to say blah, blah, blah. No, I agree. I agree with you. For, you know, and the only criticism I have of Hitchens is he really goes for the low-hanging fruit. It's real easy to cherry pick the evil done by religion. He's not just after Christianity, he's after all, or he was after all religions. It's easy to cherry pick that. And the media, you know, they just keep feeding us a constant stream of all the horrible stuff that religion does. Neat stuff, like this coming over the wire this morning. Pakistani Muslim cleric arrested for framing girl in custody for blasphemy. Did you hear that? That poor little teenage girl over there in Pakistan that was arrested for blasphemy because allegedly she had charred pieces of the Quran and took them to the dump. So they accused her of burning the Quran and desecrating it further by dropping it off in the dump. And wouldn't you know, it was the imam that did it. He went out and stuffed the pages in her trash bag because he didn't like Christians. And he figured that everybody would get upset and go after the Christians. And sure enough, a whole bunch of Christians left that village, so he achieved what he was after. What he didn't count on was a couple of righteous people in his congregation that went to the authorities and said, he framed her. He did it. Now, before I jump on the Christian steed of self-righteousness and say, see, those Muslims, need to think about people like Giordano Bruno, Savonarola. And right up the road here in Salem, Massachusetts, we burned a few people up there too for blasphemy. So, religions, they're good at that. And when religion is good at that, it is worthless. The reason I'm not going to go after it, James agrees. Says it right here. If any think they are religious and do not bridle their tongues but deceive their hearts, their religion is worthless. Now, I battled a sin within myself for several years. It's called the yes but syndrome. And, you know, and in this year of politics, it's really easy to get to that yes but syndrome. So I'm carrying on a nice conversation with you, and you're saying something I don't agree with, and I'm thinking yes but, yes but, yes but. And then right when you finish talking, I say yes but. Here we go. And I'm not doing what? I'm not listening. And James says, if you're going to have a religion that's pure and undefiled, the first thing you do, you put a bridle on it. You listen to the other person. You try to appreciate and understand their point of view, instead of coming up with that witty repartee that you can clobber them with. And the other thing that James talks about with religion that's pure and undefiled, you live it. You don't talk it. Pure and undefiled religion is seen in the way that you and I conduct our lives. If somebody's hungry, I offer them food. If I follow a pure and undefiled religion. If somebody's naked, I try to see that they're clothed. If people are homeless, I try to see that they have shelter. Now, for all the talk of this being a Christian nation, looking at hunger in our country, looking at the lack that people have, the homelessness that's on the rise, makes me wonder how pure and undefiled our religion is. Or if maybe it is worthless. Of course, that's a great big country. We do what we can when we become aware. Low-hanging fruit. It's just too easy. Now, how many times has the media covered Midnight Run? How many times has the media been up here when we prepared lunches for the kids that come up to Bedford's Women's Correctional Center? How many, and I could go on and on and on. See, there's two levels of religion. And I think the one up there at the top, and that's the one that politics, both inside institutions like the church and outside with governments that use religion to try to bend the will of people, that's worthless. Because that's just a bunch of unbridled tongues. But pure and undefiled religion that I have experienced comes from seeing the genuine giving nature of a community of faith like this. So, don't get upset at Mr. Hitchens. James agrees. I agree. It's low-hanging fruit. Instead, let's bridle our tongue and listen. And when we see those in need, let's do our best to respond the way God calls us to.